Hello and welcome to the third episode of the One Complete Nerd podcast, and welcome to 2022. We've had a new year since we were last on. I am Pete, and this is Sam.
Hello.
And we are two nerds who have partial knowledge in nerdy things and know bits about things here and there, but by combining our nerd knowledge, we become one complete nerd. We were going to have an episode just before Christmas, but due to technical issues, namely my microphone broke, that didn't happen. But I am back with a new microphone, so if the audio quality is improved, you're welcome.
Oh my god, he's back again.
We don't need that. We don't need to revisit music like that.
Aww.
I don't need to revisit music like that. You're welcome to in your own time.
It's my own time. This is my own time. Every time is my own time.
But in that time that we were awake, Sam, you did get a comment from one of our regular listeners.
I think the exact comment is, when the hell's your next podcast coming out? And I was just like, yeah, small problem. We have no microphone.
But if anybody is interested, to want to keep up to date with any in news and information about the podcast, about us in general, we do have a Twitter page devoted to the podcast now, which I have launched over the Christmas period, which is at One Complete Nerd on Twitter. We are also having an official YouTube channel, which is specifically dedicated to the podcast. It's no longer going to be on my YouTube channel. It's going to be on its own individual YouTube channel. If you're listening to this, you don't have to worry. Just subscribe here, and you'll be following along in the right place. If you don't listen on YouTube, then if we also are on Apple Podcast and Spotify. If you listen in those places, then we're grateful to have you here.
But to be fair, we might be adding some extra things to the YouTube channel, like outtakes. So I think we've had talks about doing some videos as well, such as VR, because we wanted to talk about that for a while. And it's really hard to describe VR without seeing VR.
Yeah, I understand. We will do the best we can to describe things like that to a purely audio audience. I don't intend that this podcast will be video required.
No,
yeah.
Just like I said, extras.
Yeah,
because
bonus content.
We enjoy talking to each other, but like we said, we're nerds. We like to build, we like to play, and to do those things with just audio is like, hey guys, this VR is amazing. Oh, if only you could see this. This would be great. I feel like that would be a bit boring. So,
with Christmas being what it is, the TV market has been exploding. There's been films and TV shows everywhere. There's been all kinds of stuff to talk about. Stuff I've been watching, stuff Sam's been watching, things you've knocked off your list.
Yes, which you keep adding to.
Well, this is how it works. You reduce your list, and I add new things to your list.
This isn't a competition. Well, I mean, I guess we could make it a competition. I have to try and get rid of the list before you can add everything you can, like, too much onto it.
Well, it's not my doing, because the world will continue to make entertaining content.
Until I dominate the world, and then I'll stop all forms of entertainment. Well, actually, no, I'd be bored, so I wouldn't do that.
It's my job just to point a finger at things that are nice and worth watching, and tell you to watch them if they are good.
That's one extra step to, hey Sam, shiny, woo! Like that's.
think of me as like a filter. Like I watch lots of things, and I play games and do all kinds of stuff. But if something's crap, then I'm gonna not recommend.
I was gonna say, if you start recommending me the boring stuff, then I'll just stop listening to your recommendations.
Yeah, I mean, there's important stuff to watch, but then we'll actually, on that note, I will do a rundown of a few things that I have been watching and paying attention to over the Christmas period. And I'm very aware that you've not watched any of these things. I say that, I'm assuming, but I'm pretty confident. So these are things that the audience out there might be like, oh, this is a big thing that happened. Let's talk about this. So the first on my list is The Witcher. Season 2 of The Witcher, Netflix's Witcher TV series adaptation, came out just before Christmas. And I binge watched the entire thing. I enjoyed it. I think Yennefer's character had a little bit less to do this season, but all the other characters had more to do for for the most part.
Yeah, I've not really got much input here because I haven't seen the series, nor played the games, nor read the book. But all three are on the list. And The Witcher has been on the list, and everyone keeps saying, just go play Witcher 3. It's like, you don't need to play the other ones. But for the reason, I don't want to get spoiled for things, and people say you won't get spoiled. But it's a case of, like, if I play them in the order they were released, I can't technically be spoiled, with the exception of things like, you know, Star Wars, which, you know, they released episode 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
But that's different.
A company making a prequel is a different thing because there's no spoiler there because
That's
things are
their
either
intention.
there's either foreshadowing or, you know, seeded bits of information in the world.
So yeah,
you absolutely can get spoiled for the early 2 Witcher games and the book series from Witcher 3. People that have said that to you are forgetting key pieces of information.
apparently.
Yeah, and in Witcher 3, there are several characters that you can romance and choices that can be made, and which characters you romance might be important to a book listener because some of the characters are introduced at certain points in different books.
Yeah.
So the history of these characters, if you don't know the backstory of them, the Witcher 3 game is sometimes a bit like, what am I doing? Like, is this a good choice? Is this a bad choice?
Yeah.
And only if you know those things, you blaringly obvious this is a ruse or like this is a good idea or a bad idea.
This is not a good idea. Let's do it anyway. That's my little thought process.
Having said that, The Witcher 3 I played as my first introduction to the series, to anything Witcher, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a great game.
I've seen a friend play it a little bit, and I watched a little bit, and I was like, the lighting sort of tickled me in a way it shouldn't have. It was really, really nice.
In the game or in the series?
Pardon?
In the game or
in the game?
In the game, yeah.
And yeah, it was just the dynamic lighting, and he wasn't playing it on some big setup, like I have. It was just like a simple laptop.
Yeah.
And I was like, the graphics look really good. He said, oh yeah, I'm only on medium. I was like, you're on what?
Yeah.
And I was like, looked into the set. I was like, you really are on just medium? Jesus.
Yeah, The Witcher came out, I think roughly the same sort of time as Skyrim, and is smaller than Skyrim in terms of like its world size, but like the graphics quality and the gameplay is, you know, it's the graphics quality is significantly better. I have been watching a couple of other things as well. I watched the Hawkeye series that is releasing on Disney Plus. Disney have pretty much up to this point released a new episode of something pretty much every week for this entire year so far. Mostly Marvel,
like a new
Star
episode
Wars.
Or like a whole series.
A new episode per week.
Oh, okay.
Of varying different series. So they had Loki, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, like throughout the year. And the most recent one is Hawkeye. So essentially they've just brought in a new character as Hawkeye's assistant. And then she's kind of like taking on the role so that Jeremy Renner can retire from the role, and a new woman can take over. A younger person.
Okay, yeah.
Can take over.
Fine. I had no idea about the Hawkeye. The only thing I've recently been watching on Disney Plus has been Jesus, what was it? It's some of the Spider-Man films, specifically Homecoming. No, not Homecoming. I tell a lie. It was God, what's it called? Avengers: Civil War.
Oh yeah,
because a new Spider-Man has come out.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen. It's on the list.
I have seen.
Yeah, you've seen. Don't spoil. I'm very excited to watch it. But in preparation for that, I've rewatched the first 3 Spider-Mans, 1, 2, and 3, and then realized I haven't seen the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 or Homecoming. And you mentioned, oh, he's also in Avengers. I was like, Spider-Man's in the Avengers? And you pointed out that, yeah, he's in Homecoming. In
Civil
War. So I went and watched that on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So there is a bit of tie-in between the Hawkeye and the Spider-Man. And so I'll very quickly give my spoiler-free review of Spider-Man. It's great. There's some really good emotional moments. I still think Tom Holland, the current Spider-Man, is the best Spider-Man that we've had. I personally believe that. If you want to come at me in the comments, feel free. We'll have a spider fight.
I'm seeing these memes. It's like, which is your favorite? This one is like, you're wrong. They're actors. It's a Spider-Man. Like, once he puts the suit on, he's the same skinny,
Yeah.
skinny latex covered spider.
It's all CGI after that point.
Yeah, exactly.
The major thing that I was thinking and distracted me while I was watching the movie is how much of a nostalgia film it is and how much fan service there is, which is great. But how much of this, I was sat there next to a person who hadn't watched most of the Spider-Man, the ones you've just said you've rewatched, and the Amazing Spider-Man, hadn't watched any of those films in a meaningful way or paid attention to or liked those films very much. And I'm thinking, how much is this person sat next to me enjoying this film? Because I know that is a moment, and these characters that are like the villains that return are from previous Spider-Man films. How much is this good? How much do I enjoy this because it's paying off moments set up and never finished, 10 years ago? But how much is it actually a film that I'm enjoying?
You were worried, am I enjoying the film or am I enjoying it through nostalgia glasses?
Yeah. And that distracted me for the entire film. And that's my criticism of the film, was my own personal distraction. And
yeah, damn you, film, you distracted me with my thoughts. Yeah. Wait, what?
If you're coming into this film and it's your first ever Spider-Man ever, it's still a good film. It's not like Oscar-worthy, amazing film. It's not the best film ever made.
Is it the best Spider-Man film ever?
It's one of the best Spider-Man films ever made. It's within the top 3, definitely. It's worth watching. It's definitely worth watching. Okay. But between Hawkeye and Spider-Man, this ties all these together. There is actually some returning characters. The Netflix series, when Marvel handed over a handful of characters to Netflix, they made a Daredevil series, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, who all teamed up to beat the Defenders. The rights for those films have now lapsed back to Marvel.
Right.
So Marvel has the rights to those characters, and they're just picking their favorite bits out of what worked from that and using those characters. Marvel is in a phase where they're just saying multiverse over and over again, and because they have the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four as well. They've got all these properties that have come back to them, and they now need to retcon them into their timeline. And the way that they're doing that is they're saying multiverse. Like, those universes exist, but they're also now our universe.
It sounds like they're kind of using it as a get out of jail free card. It's like, so how are you going to tie this in? Multiverse. Well, how is this multiverse? But yeah, multiverse, and that's...
Yeah, so this is a mild spoiler. Are you going to watch the Hawkeye series? He's not the best Avenger.
No,
and it's a Christmas series as well.
I forget his name.
Jeremy Renner,
the guy who played Hawkeye in the Avengers. I actually really like him as an actor, and as Hawkeye, which is really funny.
Yeah,
but if he's not the Hawkeye,
he's in the series, but it's about his retirement and moving on and passing the torch to the next person.
Probably not.
Yeah, and
go for it.
It's a holiday series, so it's set at Christmas.
Then definitely not. I don't watch holiday series outside of
Christmas time. Yeah. So the Kingpin from the Daredevil series returns.
I don't know what that is. I only know the Kingpin from
the original Ben Affleck one.
No, I forget
from
what villain he is.
Spider-Man game.
He is a Spider-Man villain.
He's a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
He's been recently, the past sort of like 5-10 years, he's been more associated with the Daredevil than Spider-Man through the films, because the Netflix series used him as the main villain, and so did the Ben Affleck Daredevil series, Daredevil film. But Vincent D'Onofrio, my opinion, an amazing choice for playing Kingpin, is back to play Kingpin. There's some weird sort of like CGI. Not CGI, but there's like weird physics issues in terms of the fight sequence he had that he was in. All the Marvel Disney series have been coming in with this just tweaks to like characters. They retcon in the fact that this character is now a super soldier because they kind of need it, because they killed off a load of super soldiers in most of the films. So it's like, now we need more people. We need more excuses why this guy's a badass, because otherwise he's just a dude. So there's a lot of like tweaking backstory.
Just a dude. There's some great superheroes that are just a dude.
Yeah.
Batman, Iron Man.
That's
about it.
Yeah. But they're rich dudes, so they've got money as their superpower.
Money is not a superpower. It's a superpower.
It is in a comic book. So definitely worth watching Spider-Man. The big takeaway from Hawkeye is that Kingpin is back. They're also going to do another Daredevil series, apparently. Rumor mill is grinding that Charlie Cox is back to play Daredevil against Kingpin, which should be really good as part of the main timeline for Marvel.
The only thing I know of Daredevil is I saw the original film from years ago.
Ben Affleck.
And yeah, and like I remember I remember quite a bit of it. I remember how he got his powers, chasing down the alleyway, acid in his face. But like the one scene, I was like, oh, what do you remember from that film? The one thing I always remember is, hey, could you pass the salt or the sugar or whatever it is? And then she goes, no, it's just there in front of you. And she's like, he goes, can you please pass it me? And she looks up from what she's reading and says, what are you? And he goes, blind? Yeah, I am. the genuine look of shock, I can almost imagine on the actor's face of like, oh no. It made me laugh, which isn't me laughing at someone's disability. It's me laughing at someone's reaction to realizing what they've just said. It was just brilliant.
Yeah, they do that a lot in the Marvel Netflix, Marvel Netflix Daredevil series that they did years ago. I've been rewatching it. A lot of people have. It's been trending again for Netflix because everyone's like, oh, this character's back. Let's relive this character.
Is that an old series? I thought it was new.
It's like 5 years old.
Oh, because it was recommended for me, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I might watch that." I didn't know they released a new series. That just went past.
There's 3 seasons of it on Netflix. I'm putting it back on your list. Yeah.
Whenever I think, but it's talking about Disney Plus and all that. It's like, whenever I think of like Disney Plus, like I used to think Disney print, like the old classic Disney films, and that because I love old Disney. I'm a massive nerd of animation. Like I love animation, how it plays, and people say, "Oh, you're watching cartoons?" I'm like, no. And watching moving art, there is a difference. Like it entertains kids because it's fun. That's how you make them. But you can have some serious, interesting, animated anime. I mean, anime has some dark tones in it a lot of times. Studio Ghibli, like sure, childish but beautifully drawn. But now when I think of Disney Plus, all I think of is Mandalorian. That's all I think of.
Yeah.
And I just go, I still need to watch that because I've heard that there's 3 series?
2 seasons of Mandalorian. And they're currently releasing a Boba Fett series, which is part of the same timeline. Yeah.
Oh, I do like Boba Fett. He's one of my favorite characters from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Actually, well, that's not true. I like Jango Fett's one of my favorite, just because he's the original and kind of badass.
The Jango and Boba Fett, those 2 guys, they stand apart in all of Star Wars because all of their sound effects are different. Like. There's the laser guns all make noises, and they all sound similar. Apart from Jango Fett and Boba Fett, their guns sound different. Their ships sound different.
Yeah.
And like that bomb in Star Wars Episode 2 when he's like in the asteroid field with Obi-Wan Kenobi and that like sonic bomb.
The sonic bomb.
Bang! That thing is cool. Like
Yeah.
all the sound effects that go with Boba Fett and Jango Fett as well. They just sound a little bit different. They sound unique in the world.
They sound special. Like they've got an extra level of badassery. Yeah, I remember playing on PlayStation 2, Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
Loved that game.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I think would directly related to Star Wars Episode 2 at some point. Like with the female assassin who gets shot by Django. Yeah.
At the very beginning of that film, yeah.
Yeah, because if you play that game, it turns out that it's not, I wouldn't say romance interest, but like they're close.
Yeah.
They get really close. And then there's just this moment where you're like, oh, this is a really cool character. And then you realize, wait, Django just shoots her in cold blood. Damn, he cold.
Yeah. We're not going to talk too extensively about the Boba Fett series because I've deliberately not been watching it. You've not seen any of it. It's. I worry that it may be the Han Solo problem. I'm going to always refer to this as the Han Solo problem of that if you explain what the Kessel Run is by making a film of it, he loses his mystery.
Yeah, you've mentioned that previously in a podcast,
Yeah.
I think.
I worry that Jango Fett TV series may demystify and make this character not as interesting.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's like,
Yeah.
it's cool. Like, if you just do, like, so the way I like to think of it is he's badass because of the incident.
Yeah.
The incident. What happened at the incident? You don't talk about the incident. And it's like, why don't we talk? We don't say the incident's name. And it's just, missed.
Now you're paying attention.
And now you're intrigued. You want to know about it because you can't have it. You can't talk about it. You just know about it. And that's like you said with the Kessel Run and Boba Fett being really cool. Unless you do it right, it isn't cool.
Yeah.
It ruins it. Like the Force.
Yeah.
Midichlorians.
Yeah.
Stuff in your bloodstream.
Yeah.
Stuff you could essentially eject into your blood and be like, I'm a Jedi now. But that's not cool. It was not mystical. It's not fancy. And again, we've talked about this before, so I won't go on to it. But like, if you do it right, so for example, a prime example, the Boba Fett, the Bounty Hunter game where you were Django, that was done great because every level was. This might be nostalgia, but I remember it being really fun, hard, really difficult on the harder difficulties, but really fun and just empowering. Like you got the rocket on your back, you got your grapple, you got your poison dart, you got your blasters, you got your whistling blaster, beep, beep, beep. Great. And that there was no point where I was like, yeah, I don't see him as a badass now. He's still, granted, I'm controlling him, but he's a badass until I play him drunk down the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, despite all of me saying we're not going to talk about the Jango Fett series, we just did that little sidebar. But that's yeah.
That's Django, not Boba.
Yeah,
different.
So we won't be reviewing or chatting about that until at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Also, I'm currently watching. So I was going through a nostalgia trip. I was like, I want to see this really cool scene of My Hero Academia, and I was just had this moment. I was like, oh, hang on, there's a new season button. Click. Oh, there's a whole new season. So I've just started watching that as of like the other night, but then immediately after that, I'm going straight to the Mandalorian. I'm just gonna binge it. I'm just gonna watch it because everyone keeps telling me to, and also I saw a clip and I was like, okay, fair enough. So it's next.
Yeah.
Even though I say that, I have just binge watched another series, Inside Job, which was amazingly. It was just great. It was just really funny. Imagine Rick and Morty matched with Family Guy, but like a female lead, which just makes it made it better, really, actually.
I think I've seen a trailer for this. This is where she works for like the Illuminati or whatever. Like
No, the Illuminati is a competitor, but yes, kind of. It's, it's really, really funny and really good. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but there's the dark humor, the swearing sounds juvenile, but like when someone it still shocks me when I'm watching a Netflix and like they just there's no bleep, they just say the F word or like I'm being PG here because I don't know who's listening, but like when they swear it's still like to me like oh Jesus, I'm not watching South Park, which I have been watching as well. It just sort of hits home that like wow, they really mean what they're saying. You've spent this Christmas period crossing a lot of things off your list. Yes, that has been my goal. I was like, I need to watch things, because I've also had technical problems too. My computer has just straight up died, and I'm pretty sure it's the processor that's just gone. So while I'm trying to fix that / buy new parts, because buying new computer parts at the moment is a nightmare. I've just been binge watching stuff on my TV / phone. So like I said, I was watching My Hero Academia nostalgia trip, and now I'm watching the new one. I've been watching South Park on a regular basis. I binged the Spider-Mans. I've watched Inside Job. I was looking at, I was looking at things to watch.
Yeah.
I was like looking down the list. I was like, Mandalorian, let's watch a clip. Okay, that's definitely next.
Yeah.
But like, as I've been doing that, YouTube's been like, hey, would you be interested in this? And I'm like, I like Sonic as a kid. Let's have a look. Oh, a new Sonic movie. I actually really enjoyed that.
Yes. Well, this was going to be. There is the Lost podcast that was about to happen just before Christmas. This was going to be the topic of conversation. We were going to talk about the Video Game Awards because there was a whole pile of trailers for films and games that were dropped at the Video Game Awards, including a Sonic film and a Sonic game.
Yeah, they look really good. I really like the Sonic movie, and I'm holding out hope that it's going to be good as well because I think it just looks cool. I'm skeptical of the game. Hopeful, but skeptical because of Sonic Team's track record, let's say. I'm not going to say they're hit and miss, but they're hit and miss. Like, there's no two way. You can't defend some of the decisions and choices they made.
It's interesting that they're doing an open world game.
Yes. So
it breaks from the traditional, my imagination of Sonic, which is a side-scroller.
A side-scroller in 2D, and a lot of the 3Ds were bad. But I enjoyed Sonic Adventure 2 as a kid, then replayed it as an adult and realised how glitchy it was. But so like I'm holding out hope because I've played every Sonic game except for Mania, which I have installed. I've just never got around to playing it. Again, on the list. And it's a case of I'm really looking forward to it. But again, when I think open world, I think Sonic 02. No, 06, sorry, I should say.
I never played that one. Open world Sonic game?
So it kind of. You went into the levels, but there was an open world hub in between the levels.
Right.
If anyone who's played the game will know what I'm talking about. It's not well made. I can't defend it. I really can't.
Fair enough.
And it's the same case with any open world where they've had like...
I definitely think this is coming off the back of Breath of the Wild. The success of Breath of the Wild has done so well, and they've thought, let's just copy that. But make it Sonic.
Right. So Zelda has always been an exploring game. An adventure. But Sonic has been about speed.
Yeah.
Like they did literally, like I could go into this because I watched a lot of documentaries and stories about this. So I forget the name of the guy who made bloody hell, my blind's going blank. The guy who made Zelda, the game was, or directed it, or pitched it, was saying it based off the idea that when he was a kid he would go into his back garden in the forest area around the back and be an adventurer in his head, going into cave systems and trees and things like that. And he made that a game and people loved it because in Zelda 1 you press start, make a character, name him, go.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is you're in this area. Anyone who's played retro games know what I'm talking about. You're in this area. You're just a little green dude with a sword, nothing else.
Like a wooden sword.
At that as well. And you have 4 directions to go and a cave. Now, the way it's developed is that you're like, oh, cave, I'm going to explore it. So you go in there and you get the meme, like it's dangerous to go along and take this.
Yeah.
And you get is it a shield or sword? I can't remember now. And then you leave, and then you're like, right, what direction do I go next? There's no prompting, there's no quest marks, there's no nothing.
Yeah.
It is just explore.
Yeah.
And that's what Breath of the Wild is, to a degree. There is an old man that tells you what to do, like, oh, we suggest you do this. But if you, like, when I played Breath of the Wild, and I've not played much of it, when you leave the area, the spawning point, there is an open world in front of you. Now, normally, you go down the path to the right and see an old man. I didn't meet that old man until hours after I was playing because I was like, ooh, cliff. Shh. I went down the cliff and I was like, ooh, apple. Ooh, tree. Ooh, stick. Goblins. Yeah. And then I had this moment, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled upon a dungeon which I couldn't get into. So I was like, okay, so I can't go in there yet. Okay, let's go back to the beginning and figure this out.
I haven't played Breath of the Wild. I don't have a Switch. But I think open world is becoming like the big trend. Like Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite is supposed to be
that's open world?
That's open world.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just bought Halo 5 to play through because I haven't played that, and that's on the list. We played a couple of levels the other day. And,
maybe we'll save Halo 5 for...
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the time, but
we've got a bit more hours on the...
Yeah, but our first impressions...
are on the fence.
On the fence. Yeah. But yeah, back to the... What I was talking about before.
Video Game Awards, yeah. The trailers.
No, it's not even that. Talk about the open world.
Oh, yeah.
About Sonic being the open world. It's like, I'm hopeful because he goes fast and he has agility and all that, and that would be really cool if it's just an open play. Like, even if it is just a flat field...
Yeah.
And you run across it at high speeds, if done right, that could be cool.
Yeah.
If suddenly there's a spring, you spring up and it's like, whoop, I'm in the sky now. Whoop, there's rocks. It could be really interesting. Like, I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not holding out hope.
It needs to benefit from different biomes.
Yes.
I mean, I say that because of Minecraft, but biomes. Like, it needs to have a big open field biome. It needs to have a city with city streets.
Are you referring to like the zones, like in the classic Sonic? So you have like Green Hill Zone and then...
Yeah. It needs to have like a desert zone, so like this big flat open desert, and you like got to avoid the palm trees and stuff. It needs that sort of like different environments to be good. So like as you say, open spaces, but you don't want it to feel too empty because you want to go up speed and you want to go really fast, but you don't want to be missing stuff.
No, so there is a difference between open and empty.
Yeah,
there's a difference. So you could have a flat world with nothing but grass, like not even hills, and that would be empty. If you have hills that you go up and down and round and things like that, that's open, but not empty. So like trees and things like that. And then just having a background that's moves with you at the right speed would be really interesting.
Mm.
Because I know, again, with the history of Sonic Team, it could just be a case of like you run across the field and you look up and you realize, oh, the scenery is just a picture in the background.
Yeah.
Which is literally an example of some of the previous Sonic games, which is awkward. But yeah, you mentioned the awards again. And we're not really giving these the time that we deserve, so we might go into a lot of this more in depth.
Yeah.
If anyone gives us a comment on what they want to hear. But this is sort of like a catch up for the New Year's and everything. So like I really want to, all this is sort of getting swept on the rug. I could be talking about all these in great depth. But like the awards, there was the Warhammer 40k games, Chaos Gate, and just Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Oh my god, they look amazing. And I'm really, really hopeful for Warhammer Space Marine 2 because I played the first one to 100% completion. Hardest difficulty, 100% of the achievements, including the 40,000 kills, which included online and offline kills. That was a lot of game time.
This is for those who don't know Sam very well. This is Sam when he plays games. This is Halo Loso. Is it the Laso with the skulls? Yeah, like legendary skulls. Sam has to complete games all the way. If he enjoys the game, hardest difficulty, 100% completion.
Yeah. That's, right. I've paid for this product. Right. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna enjoy everything that was put into this game, every way it was intended, and that includes getting 100% of the achievements, or completing it on the status bar of 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So Breath of the Wild, I have to collect everything and do everything, and because I enjoy the game. If I don't enjoy it, I won't do that.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of the time people say like, "Oh, you've got this game on your list. How come you not finished it? It's only a 15-hour game." Like for you, maybe.
Yeah, you're a game designer's best friend.
The prime example of the game I'm trying to 100% complete at the moment, and if anyone here has played the game I'm about to talk about, will stop what they're doing, look at their phone or device, cock their head and go, "You're doing what?" I am playing Total War Warhammer 2 to completion. That means the hardest difficulty for every race, and not just every race, but every character. I think there's 69 characters you can play as.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. And it's a case of it's not the impossible difficulty field, it is, but insane. And it is hard. It is very hard. I'm having to do a lot of doom stacks and a lot of, I'm using a lot of jargon here, but a lot of cheesy strats. But it's doable, and it's fun. But again, I'm not even halfway through, and Total War Warhammer 3 comes out in February.
Well, with the way that Warhammer is designed, it's designed that you, as a player, you choose an alliance, you choose a faction, you choose an army. It's like, I'm going to play this army. Maybe if you can afford it, you can pick two armies, and you alternate between depending on who you want to fight.
Oh, you're talking about the models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite like Magic the Gathering where you can have 10 different decks and just like whip out a different one, because whatever mood you're in. You invest with Warhammer, you invest. And I think that the Warhammer, like especially like Total War games and stuff, they allow you to dip into other play styles. They allow you to like, trial something before you purchase a lot of models, which is, a great sort of like way to plan those games, the way those games work. But you're not going to enjoy every one. Like, you're not going to enjoy every army. You're going to get to one. Most players will get to one like, nah, I don't like their style, and just move on. Sam's not like that. Sam will play them all the way.
Yeah, if I enjoy a game or series, I will I regularly go back and rewatch things that I enjoy.
Yeah,
just in the background. But
I have to wait a couple of years.
It takes sometimes months, sometimes it takes years. But yeah, if I enjoy something, someone has once told me that my greatest attribute is also my greatest flaw. And that is, I don't do things at half measures. I throw everything I have into something. If I enjoy it, I am 100% on board, inside it, immersed, and that is just me gone. And they said that when I started drawing digital animation, where I just had a go on a friend's thing, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I then started streaming it and just drawing, like hours, days at a time. Like there was one time when it was like a holiday, and I did a stream for I think it was a straight 24 hours. It was a 24-hour drawing stream or challenge. I bought like a 200, 300 pound drawing tablet. I upgraded my computer system so that it had more RAM. I just got like a monster tower so I could stream it and draw. I had multiple monitors. I just sort of went the whole. I bought this microphone
to stream with.
And they were like, "How much did that all cost you?" I was like, a lot. Like, I won't say the exact numbers because, well, we're not here about money. And it was just a case of like I just went all in, and it's the same with games. That's like I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to 100% it.
Well, you get your money's worth out of a game.
Yes.
For somebody who's going to pay like 40 quid for a game and then play it for 15, 20 hours, and then 40 quid on the next game. Meh. I like to get my money's worth out of a game. I like replayability, definitely like replayability, but you take it all the way.
So we've recently been playing Minecraft together.
Yes,
which has been interesting because we have very different building aesthetics. But you've seen me start projects, and then come back hours later and gone, what did you do to the area? Or what did you do? What?
Where is... Yeah.
I think, so I've recently, been it's been great fun. And, because Pete and me, like, we go back years and years, like we've known each other since we were kids in school.
Yeah.
And Pete's known me quite well. And then he's just sort of got like a refresh since we started doing the podcast and talking about all nerdy stuff again. He's sort of just been like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't into Minecraft that early in its release. It's only the past sort of like few years that I actually played any Minecraft at all. But yeah, like we started up Minecraft again very recently. We've not really played online before with it. So it's like learning around each other's play styles a little bit. I've had a lot of free time over the past couple of weeks and I've spent quite a lot of time in Minecraft.
Without not having a computer for going on months now, I've not had any time to play games, which has been tough. So I've been throwing myself into this series.
Yeah.
But like I've noticed that I don't add things to my list on purpose. Like I see something like, oh no, that has been in my mind, I'll add it to the list. But Pete seems to have this thing of like he's just adding more and more to the list if it can help.
The goal of this podcast was to talk about things that you've knocked off your list, and you've knocked a good handful of things off your list, and then I've come along and put another couple things back on your list.
Well, I have to write it. First off, I have to write it in the book, and second of all, I decide what goes in the book.
True, but I am recommending you things for your list.
Yeah, but I trust your opinion, so odds are it's going to go in the book.
Yeah, I'm recommending. So the stuff that I was watching that I'm recommending, definitely recommending the Witcher series is when you get to
that's
them.
already sort of in there.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't want to watch that until I've played the games.
Yeah.
And I can't play the games until I have my computer, first of all. And second of all, I've heard that the first two Witches are quite big.
I own both of them. I think I played half of the first one. I've not finished it. I've not played the second one.
I'm going to go through the games and I just need to, get the computer fixed and sort out, it's like I'll probably end up playing them next because, like I said, I'm playing Total War at the moment to catch up to the February release of number 3. But there's nothing really else that's like on my mind for playing. It's like when I think back to what I've been playing on Steam, it's sort of recurring between the same couple of games. But I think the next one is going to be The Witcher 1.
Yes, so we will come back to some of these things, especially we'll talk about trailers and stuff that's in the future. We'll come back to those when they actually get released and we can actually watch those things and play those games. Boba Fett will be in the future. But yeah, I recommend Witcher. Maybe recommend Hawkeye if you like. He's the least cool Avenger. So
I don't know. I quite like the underdog.
Yeah,
like I'm a guy that likes playing the underdog.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And Spider-Man, definitely recommend Spider-Man.
That is on the list, but it's a case of finding time to go to the movie theaters, and
Yeah.
with the situation the world is in right now, I'm worried that I'm going to be like, I'm going to go this day, and we can't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's also true. Hopefully everybody out there is healthy and happy and keeping well. We wish you the best. We hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year, and thank you for listening to the podcast. We will catch you in 2 weeks. Our release schedule is going to be Wednesday in the future. So if you're listening to this podcast on release day, it's just 2 weeks for your next release.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. I'll see you next episode.